Hi, and welcome to the Divinely Inspired Woman podcast. I am your host, Patricia Wald-Hopkins. I am a modern mystic, and I am here to share with you the beautiful wisdom and stories from women that desire to lead their lives inspired by the divine within them. The divinely inspired woman is devoted to walking the path of her soul's calling, tuning into the divinity within to navigate life with ease and grace through all circumstances. She cultivates beauty in her daily life. She is here to share the most authentic self each day through thick and thin. So I hope you will enjoy our show today and that you will leave with an infusion of inspiration for your soul and for your day and living your life. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Divinely Inspired Woman. I am Patricia Wald-Hopkins, your host, and today I have a lovely, beautiful guest, Shay Nichols. And let me just introduce her a little bit here. Shay is a recording artist and a wonderful one at that, a sound healer and founder of the Wild and Sacred Voice School. She teaches singing, the Land and Wild and Sacred Voice workshops, and is currently working on her latest album, Lullabies for the Earth. Shay loves helping people discover and experience the power and wild versatility of their own voices through chanting and improvisation. And I have had the pleasure of experiencing some of your work and cultivating my own voice. So welcome. Thank you for being here today. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how you live your life as a divinely inspired woman. What does that mean to you? This is jump right in.
Sounds like a very big question.
Yeah.
I would say that really centering in that connection is important to me. And everything goes better when I do. And when I forget, it's very obvious.
Yeah.
But I guess on a practical level, I love to start the day with chanting and meditation, and maybe also singing outside. I love the morning practice time, and it feels like an opportunity to commune. And I think there's something about that word that's about being,
Commune.
yes,
Yeah. Okay, well,
commune.
let's play with that word a little bit. What are we communing with? And are you your essence or the cosmos, or what does that mean?
Well, I think that, like, say in the morning practice, it's communing with the divine. So that's kind of hard to describe in words.
Right.
It's more like a feeling. But I also think that communing, becoming one with. So the times when I listen to birdsong in the morning and take it in, and the more I do, it's like I become one with it, or the wind that's in the palm trees, or when I'm singing devotionally, like singing a prayer or singing from my heart, I feel that sense of oneness. And there's a there's a feeling of expansion, and there's also a feeling of like, oh, this is what life is about. So I think I love creating opportunities for that. And even small. I mean, I'm a big fan of just doing things for 2 or 3 minutes to reset throughout the day.
Yeah. So. That sounds like a great idea. right? A little mini reset of communion, a communing experience, even when you're out in busy traffic, right? Perhaps.
Right.
Yeah, and I know that you also, you work in nature a lot, and so you talked about the birds. I know a large part of your work is that, right? Going out and actually singing with nature, right? And being inspired. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how you came to do that? I mean, that's amazing.
Well, maybe it was, I don't know, it might be 20 years now. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
When I took on vocal improvisation as a spiritual practice.
Mm-hmm.
So, improvisation was just singing whatever is in the moment, just singing however I felt and trusting that more and more. And then probably about 5 years into that, I started spending more and more time in nature, and I was working on my first album. And so I would spend a lot of time listening. Actually, I would go to the Marin Headlands, which is just across the bridge from San Francisco, and beautiful ocean and trails. And so I would spend a lot of time there. Honestly, I would listen mostly. I don't even know if I would sing that much. It was kind of like I was soaking it up.
Yeah.
And then there was this little studio, like a little yoga studio, at the basement of the hostel right there. And so I would go there and then just kind of sing what I had absorbed that day. So that kind of became my practice for like a year, going out, listening, and then coming back. I lived on 20 acres in Nevada City during that time, and then just singing. Yeah, and then that turned into my first album, which was Wildflower. And then, I mean, I think it was already happening before the pandemic, but it really went to another level during the pandemic, because nature was one of the only places. I mean, it depends on where you are, but that was one of the only places to go. And so I feel like I just started spending more time, and then I started having more experiences, like just spontaneously singing one afternoon, and then an owl started singing with me.
Oh, wow.
And then I thought, oh, wow, okay, this is like a very magical experience. And I was already set up filming it, so it was on video.
Oh, wow.
And then a few months later, was in a completely different place, but pretty wild. The kind of wild where like I had seen a snake swim across the top of the water. Anyways, started singing, and then an owl. So I think I've had 3 of those experiences now. I mean, they're always really magical.
Yeah. Well, I know that, along with the owls and the snakes and the birds and whatnot, the tree and the trees too, right? I mean,
yes.
At least, that I know that I spent some time with you among the trees in New Mexico, and that was really, really special. I mean, do you feel like there's a spirit, I'm sure to each of the different, like lands that you've lived on? I mean, do you feel like that when you sit with it, you were able to bring that essence into your singing? Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, I think that that's something that we all used to do, pick a point in time. But I think if you go far enough back, we all used to relate to the land where we lived that way.
Yeah.
And maybe even the land where we traveled. And I mean, I think that's where music comes from. I mean, I think that's the origin of music.
I got chills when you said that. Like, yeah.
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 So in a way, it's not doing anything new. And that's why I love when I teach the Singing the Land workshops, because I feel like it's just helping people remember that connection.
Ah, yeah.
And then there's something that happens. I mean, I liken it to, I mean, everybody knows that, a lot of times, like you might sing a lullaby to a baby, right? And then there's that feeling of like love and connection and soothing. And I think as you do, it like deepens your relationship or connection.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
so that same thing also happens when you sing in nature. So if you sing just a little something for a tree, like it can just be humming, all of a sudden it opens this deeper relationship. Or sometimes we've had like 9 people singing to like this tiny, tiny flower in Scotland.
Oh, wow.
That was pretty amazing. So,
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so it's the communing is a line of communication, nonverbal. I mean, it's sounds, but it's nonverbal, right? It's not necessarily, it's not chanting a certain, it's just the
exactly.
sounds. Yeah, I mean, would you be open to sharing a little bit of that with us? I would love for people to experience it.
Sure. I can just, I was
Yeah.
actually out in the
Yeah.
swamp today.
Okay.
But I'm at my house now. So yeah, we'll see. Okay.
Yeah, whenever you feel ready to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. It's beautiful. Yeah, it's receiving a lot of information there. Really touched my heart. Yeah, thank you for that. Do you
What info are you receiving?
I just like a feel like body feelings, like that
Mm.
sensation. So it's like, to me, I call that a lot of information, but it's not mental activity, but it made my heart like when, like with a child, right? It kind of tugs at your heart and opens it a little bit and softens it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like. Hello, you know, um, let me share this beautiful energy with you, and magical. It's just a magical feeling. That's the way I always feel when I hear your music, though. I do.
Thank you. I mean, today when I went out, I mean, it was about 1 in the afternoon. Everything was so green. I mean, I love the green of the springtime. But I think what I was connecting with today was just like the gentle opening of spring.
Yeah,
When
softness.
like the little flowers that come. And then I was tuning into this tree, and there are these tiny little pine needles. Again, that green, like that saturated green color. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that softness.
Yeah, maybe that was that baby feeling I got, like being with a babies, baby plants.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you have a new album that you're recording. Is this one in nature too, or is this a different type of work?
This is a continuation.
Okay.
So it's called Lullabies for the Earth. So I'd say, I don't know, I've been working on it for probably 7 years.
Okay. Wow.
I mean, I had a residency out at a place called the Studio of the Woods here in New Orleans, and at the time, I didn't really know. I didn't really know what the songs were or what they wanted to be, and it only kind of came in about 2 years ago. Oh, these are lullabies. Oh, these are lullabies for the earth, and a lot of them are multi-tracked, so they have harmonies. I love harmonies. I love playing. And then a couple collaborations with some of my favorite singers.
Oh, nice. And when you say lullabies for the earth, is it like, I don't know, I got two messages there. Is it like honoring the earth, like celebrating, or is it also to teach people how to receive love from the earth? I guess there's two, like, is it giving love to the earth and learning to receive from the earth? I don't know why that's coming up, but
Yeah. Well, with the music, with the songs, I think I'm in a place of mystery about it.
Mystery. Okay.
In other words, I don't know. And then I rely on other people to tell me what they felt or what they
Well, that's what
saw.
I'm feeling.
Exactly.
For me, I'm learning to
Exactly.
give and receive more love with the earth. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and there is something I love to do with people, which is singing from and singing to.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about that.
So you can do it with anything
Mm-hmm.
actually, but so you can do that with the earth. For instance, like you can sing from the earth,
Mm.
you can sing to the earth.
Okay. The
And
giving.
okay, is there just and then within that, are they elements of the same thing? Yes, you know, the giving and receiving is in there, but you can do that with the earth or you know, like a tree or a part of your body or a younger part of yourself. Like there's lots of ways.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
know that when I, experienced working with you, it's very healing for me to use my voice to have somebody guide me. Can you talk a little bit about your work with other people and how, what that does for you and for them?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. For some reason, the gene keys are coming to
Oh, of
mind.
course.
Uh-huh.
Gene keys are good here.
Okay. Um, because I have the 31, and I always forget life's work and what's the bottom one?
Purpose.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So I have the 31 in purpose, which
Okay.
is sounding your truth.
Hmm. Hmm.
And there's something about that that I think speaks to my work with people. So there's something about the voice, and especially the way it's used in our culture,
Hmm.
very limited.
Right.
You know, it's like, okay, you can use your voice to speak to others, to communicate. You can sing if you're a good singer, but that's
Yeah.
about it,
Right. Right. Yes.
right? And I mean, it's this amazing, powerful tool we have with us all the time. It's free. It's amazing at emotional regulation, amazing at changing states, amazing at expression and soothing and bringing things in.
Mm.
So I feel like I help people tap into that and explore that.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then another aspect, because I do work a lot with women, and they'll do this. They'll say, I have stuff with my throat chakra. Like, how many times have I seen this? And when I see that, I'm like, oh, okay, you know, ancestors. I mean, there's just a lot, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A lot of women being silenced, not allowed, repressed, oppressed. Um, and I think that they are cheering us on to
Yeah.
liberate our voices now.
Right. Yeah.
Um, so that's one thing I love is helping with liberation.
Liberation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To sound your
Mm-hmm.
truth. Your
Mm-hmm.
authentic truth. Yeah, Jen.
Right. And right. And sometimes people say like I want to find my true voice, my authentic voice. And um usually what I find is it's voices
Voice.
because
Oh,
we
yeah.
have so many different aspects, so many parts of ourselves.
Yeah.
Um I think Walt Whitman said I contain multitudes, and the voice is like that. And the more that you give it permission, give yourself permission, the more that it will surprise you and open and
Yeah.
all kinds of things.
Expansion, right? That's, I think you
Mm-hmm.
used that word in the beginning. You feel that expansion. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I know, this is this is like a sacred practice for you, and it's also, artistic, as well. And so, we have a diverse audience here, and if there's people who are kind of at the beginner and practicing ways to, connect, um, to spirit or earth, or, is how do you get going with that? I mean, is it what are the challenges that, you might have to allow yourself to experience?
Okay. So it feels like there's one question, how to get going with it, and then
Hmm.
the
The
second
challenges
question is, what are
is
the
keep
challenges
going with
that
it.
might come up?
How do you keep going?
How do you keep going? Right.
Because you're a pro.
Well, I've
No,
just clocked some hours. I mean,
that's
it's
exactly what I mean.
yeah,
Mhm.
when you love something, you just spend a lot of time with it and you devote.
Oh, well, that's the love part, right? That's what keeps you going.
Exactly. Okay, right. And that's actually what I tell people. Um, is that your voice is for you.
Mm,
And so in the beginning, find sounds that feel really good.
okay.
Just do that. So it
Mm-hmm.
could be humming. Usually humming feels good to people.
Mm-hmm.
Just one note, and it's pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Toning
Mm,
can feel pretty good. And
mm-hmm.
I mean, you can hang on one note if you
Yeah.
like. You don't have to go all over.
Yeah.
So I would say, I mean, those are amazingly powerful. They still surprise me to this day. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I hum for 3 minutes and my consciousness is changed.
Wow. Yeah.
So, I would say that. And then I would also say, like, follow what feels good.
Okay.
And then if we start to get into the second question, which is obstacles, or so sounds that feel good might sound weird.
Yeah. Right.
They might, be sounds that you've been told not to make. And
Yeah.
and so when you think about the times when you have like a lot of emotion and you can't stop the sound from coming, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like, if you're crying, there's like that wailing that happens. If you're frustrated, that
Mm-hmm.
dragon noise
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
might come out. And these things are happening naturally, instinctually, right? Because they're
Mm-hmm.
releasing the energy.
Right.
And they usually happen unconsciously, but what if we can use them consciously?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I'm feeling frustrated. Okay, let's make some dragon noises.
I love that. It's like
you
when you're
know,
a child, right? You're less likely to inhibit what sounds you, I'd say less likely, but
right? And then just because I've heard this from so many women, the sacred temple of the car.
Oh, right?
Because I hear
Because it
this
has
like
a
you,
nice sound in there too.
yes, yes, and I hear this from like, oh, they're gonna think I'm weird. They're gonna think I'm in pain. And so unless you rent like a dance studio, which I do recommend, dance or yoga
Yeah.
studio, just an hour a week. But if you can't do that, your car,
Okay. Perfect. So
just one place where you won't feel inhibited.
I'm hearing you say to just, allow yourself to not judge what comes out and create a sacred, a safe space for you to explore. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Because the voice of judgment, and we all have it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I call it the voice of shutdown.
Yeah. Yeah.
And pretty much the voice of judgment, I mean, its only intention is for you to stop
To
making
protect
sound.
you a lot of times too, right? Like,
Yes,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
right, right. So it could be a voice that from the society that you've internalized. I think that
Mm-hmm.
happens a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot
Hmm.
of imprints and beliefs.
Hmm.
Well, I appreciate that, because I often forget, yeah, that I can do that in the car too. Except when my kids on there, but they usually don't care too much. But I wanted to touch on a couple more things with you. I know that you integrate dance, into that. Can you talk a little bit about that and the benefits of that you have experienced with that?
Hmm. Hmm. Sure. Um, yeah, I actually freed up my dance before I freed up my voice.
Oh, okay.
Um, and so I started doing something called body choir in Austin, which was related to ecstatic dance, five rhythms, but essentially like move however you want.
Okay.
At that time, I was going through a mysterious illness where I felt like dizzy a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just did not feel good in my body. And dancing was one of the few places where I felt good.
Mm.
And it was really wild with the dizziness because I would spin and I would feel better.
Huh.
So it was really interesting about unwinding, unraveling. And I think in that experience, like I just began to trust the intelligence of my body, like
Mm.
however it wanted to move. And then when I found my improvisation and sound healing teacher, I already knew that pathway from dance. And then the possibility, like, oh, you can do that with voice. Oh, you can do that with singing. That's the same pathway.
Oh, wow. I can
Hmm.
I can see that. And I wonder if because you created that pathway through your body, then you gave a safe place for your voice to anchor in. Is that true? Like once you get comfortable being in your physical body, then your voice has, well, for me, it has a place to sit, like
Right?
anchor, be held.
Yes. I think that's part of it, but I almost think that even more than that, like I feel like improvisation, and that to me is that dance practice.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you just allow whatever your body, your breath wants to do. Um, and I feel like that is communion with the divine.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. You landed it. All
Right.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then, I mean, and then just briefly, this was more with nature and music. I have a wonderful friend who she teaches authentic movement. And so we did authentic movement practice in nature. Essentially, it's eyes closed without music. You move
Mm-hmm.
however you want.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that was also really powerful and a practice I continue to do to this day. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
hmm.
I did that with you once, maybe. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
powerful.
Hmm.
Definitely connected with the trees again.
Hmm.
Hmm. Well, I want to say that you have this beautiful pattern of light across you. No, I mean, I think it says something about the light that you hold, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it looks really beautiful on you. And I know we're coming to close here for this episode, but I want to ask you if you have any, last little pearls of wisdom that you would like to share with our audience, and also how they can reach you and learn more about you.
Hmm. I think what's coming to me is that, oh, this is another from Jinkies. Structures for magic to flow through.
Number 60.
Uh-huh.
I got that one.
Yes. So I feel like it doesn't really take a lot of time, this communion.
Okay.
Um, I mean, it can be as easy as like setting a timer for 3 minutes on your phone, which I do sometimes. And just 3 minutes of moving outside with your eyes closed, or
Mm.
singing from your heart, or singing to your favorite tree.
Mm. That feels so good. I mean, like when you talk about it, I'm like, why don't I do that all the time?
Yeah, so I think that there's this myth that spiritual practice, takes a lot of time and dedication,
Work.
it's work, and but I love these, just, these little moments.
Mm.
And I think that's such a great teaching, so that to be able to drop into that.
Is that part of the 34 to just that, right?
Which I have 3 times.
Right, right.
Uh, yes.
Yeah, it's just that being it just comes through, right? The movement and
Well, there's a
something
line of harmonizing with natural forces.
natural. Ah, thank you for clarifying. Yes.
And there's something about allowing whatever sound wants to happen in the moment, or whatever movement wants to happen in the moment. Right there, you're harmonizing,
Okay.
because you're tuning into the moment, asking what it needs, and becoming available for it to flow through. So,
I love that.
mhm.
Majesty in action there.
Um,
Mm,
as far as getting in touch with me, my website, I
okay.
suppose,
Okay. And I'll
and
put that in the comments.
mhm.
Mhm.
I do offer like a free, like in exchange for like a 30-minute interview, a free 30-minute voice session. So
Okay.
that's pretty fun. And then I offer wild and sacred voice classes for women every couple months. So it's an 8-week series.
Great. Okay, and this is all found on your website. And I know you also you're on Instagram, right? As Shay, is it Shay under Shay Nichols, or do you have it under
Shay Nichols Music.
Shay Nichols Music? And your website is, just go ahead and say it once, just so.
Oh, okay, it's shaynichols.com.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, Shay, for being with us here today. This was lovely and inspiring for sure. Divinely inspiring. I'm gonna start that 3-minute practice today.
Yay!
All right.
Thanks
Thank
for
you,
having me.
everybody. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you next time. Stay divinely inspired. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Divinely Inspired Woman. Again, I am your host, Patricia Wald-Hopkins, and I am so glad that you joined us here today. I hope you left with some soul food to inspire your daily life. And if you would like to learn more about my work, please check out my website, patriciawaldhopkins.com, and you can find out more about my divinely inspired practice and tools. So, thank you again. Have a beautiful day. Hi, I'm dropping in here with an announcement about a program a new mentorship that I am offering. It's called Voices of Gaia, and it's about bringing your voice, your leadership, your life in alignment with Gaia's guidance. So if you feel called to learn more about this program, it's a beautiful, rich program where we dive into your essence. And if you so desire, we develop your business around it and really blossom into your whole lifestyle, this wisdom from Gaia that wants to be spoken through you. So if you feel called, reach out to me at patricia@patriciawaldhopkins.com. That's patricia@patriciawaldhopkins.com. There's no hyphen between Wald and Hopkins. And I would just love to hear from you and see if this is a good fit. So thank you for tuning in. Have a beautiful day.